Hello there, English speakers. I will enlighten your blind spot when it comes to Russian propaganda, AI, Zionist propaganda and deceptive behavior from X. But first, this is not a normal pine, it's a mugo pine or a mountain pine. And behind it we have, of course, a tuya, and we have a blue spruce, and probably a normal spruce that is cut very strangely. Maybe it's another kind of spruce. It's hard to tell. But let's start by taking a big, deep breath. And here we see yet another one of the very common oaks. Sorry for the video getting a little bit cut yesterday, but it wasn't much more I wanted to say. I was speaking to the owner that owns the new oak forest that suddenly popped up some years ago here in Ljusdal in Sweden, where we don't have oak forests until now, when they suddenly start to grow. I am needing to enlighten my own blind spot. The first rule of persuasion is to be seen. And since I lost X, I haven't been great on that. Getter, I get some views by commenting there. Facebook, maybe a few, but very little for my actual content. I get a lot of views on funny animal videos, but that's not really what I'm trying to do, except for diversion. That is nice. And on Substack I'm trying to comment there and get a few new followers. I have been thinking about doing some live and maybe interview someone. So if you have ideas how I can reach new people by doing that. And here you have a Swiss stone pine that are somewhat common here, at least. I haven't seen them wild yet, what I can remember. So ChatGPT will stop giving advice about legal stuff or medical stuff, because they don't like that. The grifters that are lawyers or medical doctors. That was very predicted by most people. But there are alternatives, of course. Brian Romle, who is an expert on AI, among other things, and he says that Brightu, they have an AI that you can reach on Brightu, so Brightu.ai, or I guess you can find it on Brightu too. And this you can actually download and install on your computer, so that you always have access to this medical or legal information. He didn't recommend it for legal stuff, but for medical stuff, it's of course done by Health Ranger that owns Brightu. So it's conspiracy health, if you can phrase it like that. So Brightu.ai. And you don't have to download it, you can use it there also if you just want to test it out. Something that might be good to know about history, about Tsar Russia. If you have a blind spot about this, which many people probably have. How about literacy? How many people could actually read and write in 1897 in Tsar Russia? So it turns out that pretty many, like half of the population in Moscow, they knew somewhat how to read and write. But otherwise, almost no one could read and write. So it was a very illiterate society, except for Finland and the Baltic states that had way higher literacy. And even south of Poland, they did not have this literacy that was pushed not only by the Lutheran church that of course push it hard in Finland and Estonia and Latvia, but also in Lithuania, where some German organizations also pushed it. Lithuania is Catholic. I don't know how true that was 120 years ago. But might give you another view on Russian culture from that time, when very few could actually read the books that were written, to use the correct grammar. The Russian propaganda about Nazis in Ukraine, that is ridiculous. It's a gas libel, a big lie about European people in general. It's offensive and it's not effective, and it's just Bolshevik bullshit. So here is another example. I saw it first from Che Bose, and he should be ashamed of this, I think. So you see an image of Zelensky, the globalist Jew that no National Socialist would ever work for. But then you see these soldiers, and they are having this SS runes. You might think. No, it says Sila Svobody 44. So there are 2 4s. But if you take a bad photo and you look at it, it might look a little bit like SS. So I don't know, 44, that's a dog whistle for Dial Hitler, I guess, because D is the 4th letter. Like 88 is Heil Hitler, then 44 must be Dial Hitler. So no, we can have just fun with, and I hope Russia should stop doing that bullshit. We don't want to hear made up Nazis. Hollywood is already doing that, so you don't have to do that too. Statista. They often get published on Zero Hedge. Statista is nothing like Zero Hedge. Statista is a publication that is spreading the unholy narrative and selling, well, the unholy narrative basically. So they are not conspiracy aware at all, but often get published on Zero Hedge. So they are reporting that Chinese spies, they are doing mostly commercial spying, half of their spying. And this is a report from 2023. And then you smell it. Does it smell Zionist propaganda? Of course it does. Globalist Zionist propaganda. So from 2023, and it was made by Center for Strategic and International Studies. So that's a think tank. It's bipartisan, so it's like AIPAC. It's of course totally infiltrated by Zionists. And who are funding it? Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Open Society Foundation, that's Soros for you, and Climate Work Foundation. So that's the globalist garbage that is funding it. And also, of course, as it's doing strategic stuff, it's funded by Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and General Atomics. So this is the military industrial complex, MIC, as I write in my Substack, if you didn't know that short. And 24% of their income is from the corrupt, criminal, genocidal government of the US Federation. So 24% is the US Federation spending money on this propaganda organization that don't do studies or research. They do propaganda, that's what they are. A big scandal in Israel. They have a leak. So that's how Zionists and BBC and others see it. Big scandal, it was a leak. Humans see that the big scandal is that they had a gang rape of a detainee, but that's not how the rapist, genocidal, lying, stealing Zionists see it. I was, of course, totally correct when it comes to Zoran Mamdani, and also a lot of other woke attorney generals and governors were winning. So it was a good day for the Democrat, but it was also expected. It's not like it was a surprise. It's just not good of the Republicans. So if you are this super Zionist Jewish supremacy Bill Ackman, what is the first thing you do when you have a jihadist, communist Zoran Mamdani winning? Well, you turn around and say, oh, congratulations, I hope you can work very hard with me and we can, work together. You have a lot of important things to do for Jewish supremacy, etc. While you have more stupid moves, of course, I might be wrong, because Trump, for example, is good at this, but he seems to be a little bit damaged by his Zionist friends. Here are some nice distractions. So Trump says that the Jews that voted for Zoran Mamdani are really stupid. Okay, at least Trump is consistent, and he's calling the Jews stupid, just like the Jewish supremacists call us stupid. So he wanted people to vote for Cuomo, which is a corrupt piece of Democrat garbage. But yeah, and General Flynn is also making a fool out of himself, and noticed that this Zoran Mamdani, of course, is a friend with Alex Soros, that leads the Soros Foundation now. So I assume that this Zoran Mamdani, as Open Society, is funding this CSIS, Center for Strategic and International Studies, funded by Soros and Lockheed Martin and Bill and Melinda Gates and Trump administration that pays for it. So they are all in a big club, globalist piece of garbage, and they are all the same. So Robbie Starbuck, he has been famous for getting rid of DEI and other racism, and he is totally fooled and says that New York City is screwed, as if anything would change. No, Bill Ackman is still there, trying to get his Jewish mafia running the city. And Mike Flynn is saying that Soros runs not the Center for Strategic and International Studies, which they do, but suddenly New York City, as if anything had changed. So it's only the rhetoric that has been really changed, and it pissed off some Zionists that are easily fooled, not Bill Ackman, that is just a sociopathic liar and knows that nothing actually changed. X has been deleting a lot of videos from Gaza the last weeks, and that's of course a war crime and crimes against humanity. And they have been deleting me, so they steal, murder and rape and try to cover up their crimes, these Zionists that are also destroying X. To be fair, YouTube is also deleting this, and they don't do it quietly. YouTube actually blames Trump for it, because Trump tells them to delete all the videos that make Israel look like Israel, that is a genocidal terrorist state that likes to rape their prisoners as long as it's not getting out. Garvinder, he has a Substack, so you don't have to follow him on X. He noted that Substack is getting much more traffic from X the last year. Suddenly it changed in the beginning of this year. Suddenly, it was me who started to pay for my Premium Plus, while I got deleted for 2 months first, and then the last month also, because as I said, X is totally evil and they cheat. So X decided that they want to make X look more important than it is. So when you see links on X, it auto clicks on them for you. So it looks like you have gone to these web pages that you didn't go to because you stay on X to feed traffic there. So that's a shitty behavior, and this is confirmed by Grok. So if you see a lot of traffic from X, it's probably fake, and the platform is not growing as they are claiming it does. My problem is mostly that I don't know how to use Instagram effectively, or any other platform effectively. Maybe I can do that better. But I did succeed on X until they deleted me. Candace Owens continues to be interesting. She has now confirmed that there were 12 Israeli mobile phones that were on Charlie Kirk's murder scene. These are phones that were registered in Israel and traveled to USA. So that's suspicious, and this is known by FBI, by the Trump administration, but they want to hide it. And I will remind you about that. The footage from Turning Point USA and from FBI, they have a lot of footage that would help people figure out who did it more exactly and what exactly happened. But they are not releasing that because they are covering up for the true murderer. So eventually they must be arrested, especially the heads of FBI there. Candace continues with her very good persuasion move. She calls these Zionists Bolsheviks, that they are from Bolsheviks families. They changed their name, they wrote books about how they were the victims, even though they were the criminals. Of course, as Tucker Carlson can remind us of, we can't blame children for their parents, or we don't do that. We are not Jews. Jews do that. They blame children for their so-called terrorist fathers, but only if you yourself have committed crimes. You should be punished. But they continue to behave like gangsters and Bolsheviks in their what they say, what they do, what they support. And then, of course, they should be treated like genocidal gangsters that they are. So it's time for Christians to wake up and realize that their churches and organizations are infiltrated by Jews, and there is no such thing as Judeo-Christian values. But it's not only Christians. Now there is a AHJC. So that's the American Hindu Jewish Congress, and they will have their first Congress or gala on Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. Why do the Jews want to insert themselves into bloody everything? We know exactly why. And maybe I should insert myself everywhere there is a Jew and make the life miserable for these gangsters. Not all Jews, and you know the deal there. I'm not complaining about the ones who don't behave like gangsters. I just mistrust them, and that's just common sense. Brett Cooper used to work for the Daily Wire, but she wanted to tell the truth, so she quit. But Matt Walsh is still on the Daily Wire, and he is getting pressure from people saying that, yeah, trying to, well, save him. They are not your friends, the Zionists. They hate you. You don't want to fund Israel, then you are their enemy. And the only reason they keep you close is because, well, they want to control you. So we'll see what happens with Matt Walsh. I use these persons as general examples, not that they themselves are the most important in the world. But finally, I got jealous. I saw Otto, 2 years old, and he has a best friend that is a crow. That is a very friendly and nice crow. I want to have a crow friends, so if you know someone, tell them where I live, and I might get a great bird-brained friend that are actually really smart. With that, see you again for the day of bragging and Thursday tomorrow.